the cloud. Now we can begin the meeting. So, welcome to the Landmarks Committee meeting. This being the July meeting of Community Board 3's Landmarks Committee. We have only one thing on our agenda tonight, and that is to just refine our district needs statement that we created last month and prepare it to be submitted. So I will share what we made last time. I changed it a little bit. Okay, can you all see it?
Not yet.
No.
I see it from what you sent out this afternoon.
Right. We have it in the email.
I've changed it since then. How about now?
Starting.
Okay.
Yeah, now we got it.
Now we
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. Eventually, I'm gonna not be an expert, but at least be competent in this product.
Only got part of it.
It's really an interesting thing to use. Okay, so let's just everybody take a look at the first paragraph. Since I sent it out, I added this little bit right here. The most recent designations in CD3 were, because I thought it was pretty interesting that we haven't had any designations in our community district since 2013.
That's important.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I thought it was much more recent.
Yeah.
I think that's a telling point. They need to get busy and do some designations. Oh, just Carolyn says she's in the waiting room. I'm working on getting the participant list. Some kind of really interesting person must have invented this product.
Mr. Zoom.
I know they're overnight billionaires.
Yeah, and basically it's quite wonderful, and the fact that it's easy to use, except when it isn't. It's not showing the toolbar anymore.
Maybe. You have to unshare the screen or make the screen bigger.
Yeah, let me stop the share. We can always start it again. There we go. Now it's back. Now I can let Carolyn in. Rename her. That I learned how to do. It seems really useful. Okay. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I'm okay. Okay, I'm going
Hello,
back
everyone.
to share this screen again. Okay. So Carolyn, I was just pointing out. That I added this one sentence right there. Can you see it? Okay.
Yes.
Because I wanted to, when I went back to look at when the most recent things were designated, it was a long time ago. Yeah. 2013, that's 7 years since they designated anything in our district. So put that in. Otherwise, I think, and this is the same as what I emailed out, if you had a chance to read it.
Yes, I did.
Good. Hold on. It's relentless. Relentless. Okay. So let's just go through here, and you people pipe up if you think there's anything that we need to change, add, delete, whatever. So we listed last time a bunch of historic districts that we thought were in need of attention.
Linda, I had one comment.
Yes.
When we went to the LPC and we introduced the subject of the Al Smith Historic District, we only had it extending to Oliver Street, not to Catherine Street. And when Mitchell, Richard, and I went around and surveyed, we didn't go as far as Catherine Street. We just went to Oliver Street.
All right, I'll put Oliver, but you should go take a look at Catherine. Or look
Okay.
at like what goes on Madison Street on the way to Catherine.
There were some historic things that happened in that block, but it wasn't in what we had surveyed, so I didn't really focus on it.
Okay, thank you. All right, anybody, any other comments on the historic?
Well, we could look at it real quick with maps and see what you mean.
Say what?
Maps.
We could look at it real quick with maps and see if what you want to apply for.
No, we can leave it like that because that's what we explained to the commission. And if we want to go into more research and extend it, you know, there's that one, I'm sure you noticed it when you were surveying, Deborah, that one little federal building, it's red and the top of it is not modified, but the bottom of it is.
Right.
And
Well, that's included on, yeah, that's included, Linda, on the block of Madison, yeah.
Yeah, they previously declined on the grounds that it's too altered.
Right.
So I happened to be zooming in on the LPC meeting last week, and they had a house that admittedly had some cultural significance as well. But the front of it was exactly the same. They'd added something on in front and made a storefront. And
Yeah.
the upper floors were intact. So
Yeah.
they're not consistent. Of course,
Yeah.
we have a better chair now, and it's probably worth having them take another look at that. That's just such a darling little house.
It is because it has the two dormers still, which is really great. Yeah.
Which is, you know, one of the main criteria for designating a federal house.
Right.
Okay.
And there's so many federal houses that were enlarged to be 3 stories, that's a great example of one that still has the dormers and still is 2.5 stories. So it's
Right.
really important for the district.
Yeah, there's a bunch of federal houses. I don't know if there's how many more in our district. There might be a few. So at one time in the past, there was a woman did a research project. I think it was for Greenwich Village Society, and she identified every federal house in Manhattan.
Oh,
Several of those have been designated since, but
yeah.
we could do more. I think they can be pressed to do that because they're so rare.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think, did Mitchell get in his, yeah. We should put these back on here. I think it's 254 and 256 Bowery that they declined to designate in the past, but he thought we might be able to put it back on there. If I find that precise address, I'll just add it, but those aren't federals. They're very reluctant to designate anything on Bowery because the city has other plans for Bowery, but you know,
Right.
what are we for? Okay. This is quite a list.
Yeah.
These 2 are long-standing.
Mm-hmm.
This is.
Mm-hmm.
This I don't think, well, I guess we may have had it on our list last year.
Mm-hmm.
Eastern Dispensary, they're considering,
Right.
so that's good.
This next one, 311 East Broadway, is one of the individual landmarks that LESB has on its list now, because we expanded from just, focusing on historic districts to also including individual landmarks, and that's a one.
So what is that building now, 311 East Broadway?
It's a mitzvah now, I think.
That's the Mikvah building?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it's quite wonderful.
I was just trying to place the address. I
That
know the
That's
Okay.
within what we call the Stiebel Row Historic District.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a fine building.
Yeah.
That's another one. You should,
Okay.
And the next one, the Educational Alliance, we feel that should be considered too, that we're surprised it never has been, because most of it's pretty intact. I know there's been additions.
I think it may have been in the past.
It was
But you know, there was a long period of time when they had all those lower first floor windows were boarded up. And you know,
Yes.
before they did the most recent renovation,
Uh-huh.
and that may have influenced their decision. It's certainly worth throwing that in there again and seeing what they
Okay.
do with it. Yeah. And then of course this school, which is quite wonderful.
Yes, right. That's an apartment house now, like a condo
Yeah.
complex.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
uh, I don't know if that protects it somehow because the owner of the condos probably wants to keep it, but
Well,
I don't know.
think he has any interest in messing with the exterior of that building.
I don't think so because that's
I don't
part of
think
the
so.
charm.
Who
Hasn't until now, so why would you start?
Yeah,
right, he did the whole interior renovation without messing with the
Yeah.
exterior.
right.
Do you know who, did you look up the ownership of that building?
I didn't, we have it somewhere, but I don't have it right here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just wonder if it's still the same owner that did the development or whether he's, you know, sold it out. Okay, now these last two were added by Carrie.
no, these were added by us, by Lesby,
Oh, okay,
maybe seconded by her.
definitely seconded by her.
But
Yeah.
the bathhouse and Henry Street Firehouse?
No, the 2 Mott Street.
Oh, you said
Because
not the list too. Okay.
here's another interesting fact. How many landmarks do you think are in Chinatown?
None.
None?
One.
It's
There's
not
one.
zero.
There's one.
As far as I could determine, that Chinatown has 3 landmarks.
3.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
was
I
in
know.
the
The Church of the Transfiguration on Mount Street, which is quite
Right.
wonderful.
Yeah.
The Mooney House, which is
Right.
very ancient,
Right.
and the Citizen Savings Bank.
Oh, okay.
The
Wow.
1910 building. Yeah, which is, it's not, the trouble with that one, I mean, it's a fine landmark, but it is not representative of the culture of Chinatown, whereas
No.
these are.
Yeah.
And the
And
church,
these are by that architect. Let me get my notebook. I think it's Gum Poo. Excuse me. I'll get my notebook. Yeah.
Well, much of it was Little Italy.
yeah. And then, yeah, the Baruch Bath House, which I think hasn't got much chance, but it's on the list. And the Henry Street Firehouse, which if you haven't been down Henry Street to look at the firehouse, which is now part of the Henry Street complex with the federal houses on Henry Street. And it's quite a wonderful building, and I don't think they have any problem with designating it.
More fun than unique. I don't know if it's so unique, but it's a fun little firehouse.
Yeah, no, it's a beauty. And,
Yeah,
you
it's a
know,
beauty.
all their other buildings are landmarks, so why not? And Mitchell and I had sounded them out and they weren't quite ready to deal with it. And of course, everybody's too busy right now, but as soon as we get a little spare time to work with them, I'm sure we can get that one out there. Mitchell wrote a great letter of support for them for something they were trying to get. And I looked at it and I thought, this is already a request for evaluation. We don't have to write much more than that. He did a really good job. Did you find?
Linda, may I ask you a question? You said there were 3 landmarks in Chinatown.
Yes.
I didn't catch the first one. I got the last 2, Mooney House and Citizens Bank. What was the first one?
The Church of the Transfiguration.
Okay,
Which
thank you.
it's on Mott Street, you know, more north from Bowery.
Okay,
And it's quite distinctive. You'll recognize it right away when you see
okay,
it.
okay, thank you.
So I just looked it up to make sure I had the name correct for 83 Mott and 60 Mott. The architect is Poi Gum Lee, who did the memorial. Yeah, Poi Gum Lee, Poy, capital Gum, capital Lee. And he did the memorial arch in Kim Lau Square.
Ah,
So everyone knows that, but
yes.
yeah. And my understanding is that Carrie Culhane is actually doing her dissertation on that architect.
I think she is.
Wow.
Yeah. I think,
Yeah.
and she had a show at the Museum of Chinese in America
Right.
a few years ago, and so I think he was called out in that show.
Yeah.
So if we need some help in writing a good request for evaluation, you know, run it by her, see what else she knows.
Right.
Okay.
You know, just a matter of interest, if people are interested, I went on a walking tour from MAS of Old Chinatown yesterday with Francis Moroney, and he dealt with this architect, and he talked about the architect being representative of something he calls alternative modernism. So he is a modernist architect, but he adds thematic elements that have to do with Chinese history. So it's really a distinctive kind of modernism. That was kind of interesting.
Okay. Yeah, well, we have to, I wanted to do a little more research that I just didn't have time to do, and I may still have time before this actually goes in. I actually wanted to count, and I've got a count of Chinatown landmarks, but I didn't do a count of Lower East Side, which are not many, maybe 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there's a lot in the East Village because of the historic district, which has 300 and some buildings in it. So, but if you took the historic districts out, I don't think there's that many in the East Village either. So they haven't done their job in our neighborhood, and it's a historic and an important neighborhood, and it needs attention.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, let's go down some more. Okay, so I said emphasis needs to be given to designations of buildings of historical and cultural significance, including buildings on the Bowery. So in other words, they may not be perfect, but they have there's other reasons. That's true of the Lower East Side Historic District also. Okay, and then Carolyn, you'll like this.
Uh-huh.
I added as a potential demolition by neglect, PS 64. And
Yes.
you might look at the text of that and see if you have any changes to suggest.
Yeah, it's, I did read it, and I think that's a very good description of what's happened to it. It's funny, with the images that people have been sending, they're chunks of the white stone facing on the roof that the kids have been sitting on.
Should we mention that there've been break-ins and that people have been hacking away at the roof?
I would say that the building is not sealed and continues to be broken into daily.
Right, so shouldn't we add a sentence about that to this demo by neglect?
Should.
That's
No.
what did in the synagogue was people got in there and set fires.
No, no.
Yeah, that's part of. Yeah, I would put edit in.
Somebody give me a sentence.
Okay. The building is not sealed. It continues to, or you've got the building not sealed. Okay.
Well, it's unsecured and delinquent elements can affect the structure.
Well, it's not so much that sealed against intruders, right?
Right.
Sealed against intruders and break-in.
Right. Can get, well, you know, unlawful entry or something.
Well, it's delinquent.
People have been seen on the roof.
Right.
Hacking at the bricks. Is that what they're doing up there?
Yeah, they are with a pickaxe.
That can cause water damage.
Yes. And also
I would include the pickaxe.
Get a pothole in the brick up there.
Pickaxe.
Yeah, that's what they were using to break it up with. Literally, they have a pickaxe on the roof.
How do you spell?
Wow.
Spell pickaxe? I guess so. Also,
I guess
the kids that have been in, you know, kids have been seen running in and out of the doors.
And you could reference the synagogue damage that was done by that by in a similar situation.
Yeah, I will.
Right.
I just want to get that second point, Carolyn.
Okay. Also, I don't know if you want to include that they're using the scaffolding in front of the building as a way to access the interior.
Well, that's what I was saying.
People are using the scaffolding in front of the building. Is this on 9th Street?
On 9th Street, yeah.
Another 5 minutes.
To enter the building.
On the last paragraph.
We
Oh.
fear that, I'm to say that
You-
the arsonists, that the arson at BHH, which I'll spell out later, might be repeated here.
Right, exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
David, any thoughts about the wording?
Yeah.
I know you're good
No,
at
it's
it.
fine. No, you got the concept in. This is only a a framework. It's not a resolution.
Correct. Okay. Given the onerous deadlines between calendaring and designation imposed upon LPC, CB3 requests that LPC be given an increased budget and additional staff in order to handle both the proposed designations described above and the regulatory workload, which increases as each new landmark or historic district is designated. So this is part of the regulatory workload here.
Okay.
You think
I don't know if it's worth mentioning. We've called the police, and the police have said that they cannot access the building without a warrant that would have to be issued by the buildings department because the front gate is locked when the landlord is.
stated that they cannot access the building without a warrant, and how would they get a warrant?
Through the Department of Buildings.
Oh.
I should say that before, I should put this sentence after it. The arson that destroyed. That still hurts, right?
It does.
Yeah.
And the fact that two people died and the aftermath is not funny.
Yeah. And just walking by that empty lot, it was just so sad.
Yeah.
You don't want that to happen to your landmarks.
No, you don't.
All right. Any other thoughts before I say this is good? Want me to put it back to the topic and people can take one last read through?
Okay.
I think it's pretty good, but. Yeah, I think it would be bolstered if I finished getting those counts. There's no easy way to get them, unfortunately. You have to list them out and count them.
Yeah. If you looked at the map that's on the LPC site, because that helps if you enlarge that.
It helps and it doesn't help. It's, what's funny is there's data behind that map, right? It's effectively a huge spreadsheet, which
Right.
I downloaded. And you know the field that's missing from that spreadsheet?
What?
Community district. So I can list everything in Manhattan, but
I see.
I have for community district, and I know the Lower East Side. Most of those landmarks are well known to friends of the Lower East Side, but not so much the East Village ones. So, and I can make Excel count the number of buildings in the historic districts. That's not a problem. It was easy to extract them; they're identified, but it's the individual landmarks. I might have to go at it in a different way.
Right. I think at one point in time there were like 300 buildings in the East Village Historic District.
Yeah, it's in the 300s. As I say, that's easy to find. And in each of the other districts, the St. Mark's Historic District and the East 10th Street Historic District, those counts are easy to get. Because they don't have community district in this blinking spreadsheet, I can't just pull out only community district 3 and say bing, bing, bing. So I ran out of steam, but perhaps I'll get some more steam because I think it would be helpful in bolstering our argument.
Right.
All right. I'm going to just sort of scroll down a little bit and you want me to stop, just holler. That's it.
Okay.
All right. So let me unshare this. I don't think we need a resolution here, but we might.
Okay.
Let's just have a simple resolution that says the landmarks.
Motion to approve.
Huh?
Motion to approve the designation. The motion to approve the report.
Exactly.
Right. The district needs statement.
Okay, so who's going to do that?
Well, you may make the motion. Just say, I so move.
So seconded.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sandra, are you in favor?
I'm in favor.
Okay. That's it.
Okay.
Hey,
Should we have a
Can you close
motion to adjourn? the
motion to
meeting?
adjourn?
Oh, I had
Do we have
one
to
thing
approve last month's minutes or anything like that?
Oh,
or-
Right.
We approved last month's minutes, right?
Right.
Good thing I wasn't there.
Yeah,
Deborah has a question.
Yeah,
You're
I had
present.
wanted, I
You're,
had wanted to,
Linda,
Motion to
You're
approve.
abstaining. The minutes, which I did, I think I distributed them early on a long time ago, but there were no resolutions in those minutes.
Right.
We can easily
Linda,
approve them.
Deborah has a question.
Yes, Deborah.
oh yeah, no, I had a comment really. I don't know if Linda and David saw the Lesby newsletter that went out, that Richard sent out yesterday, and that SHPO had deemed eligible the East River Park buildings that we presented to you in the winter.
Yes, that was really excellent work. Yeah, we're going to, at our next meeting, we're going to have a little report on that. You'll probably be there.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Excellent news. I'm thinking about the strategy that we might need for getting that, to actually getting them designated and not just eligible.
Yeah.
And because the city owns them, that's not going to be easy. So,
Mhm.
Yeah, the Parks Department is not
yeah,
easy
the
right now.
Parks Department, the Parks, I mean, they might have some sympathy. I don't think they're totally opposed, but I think we have to work on the politics of that. So I don't want to have, I was thinking of having us, the Landmarks Committee, approve a resolution in favor of it, but I think we should not. I think we should let Parks do that because that's where it counts. And it's always this discussion that takes place at executive committee about whose committee is going to do something. And the very notion that two committees might be interested in the same thing is foreign. So, and I'm going to talk to Trevor and we'll see what, how we want to handle it, but we'll do whatever we need to do at the next meeting, which is September. All right, so did we approve the minutes?
Yes, there's a motion to
We
approve.
approved the minutes. We've adjourned before we approved the minutes, and that's okay. So we're done.
All right.
You gonna stop the recording for a moment?
Oh, yeah? Maybe.
No, I want to say something. I want to record it.
Oh, well, let me see.
It's not a
August off.
Everybody have a good summer. We'll see you in September.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.